What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today I wanted to address a question that I've been getting asked a ton lately. Is Yorhm, Lord of Sparkles, a good first E5 hero? And straight up, the answer is most likely absolutely not. You want to stick to the traditional routes. Don't change it up. Don't do any of that nonsense. Stick the traditional routes. However, this hero has really helped us out in certain scenarios. Now, even if you're a average player, late game player, you don't spend too much, again, this is not a hero you really want to go for. It's almost like a utility tool that's being used by me as a sledgehammer right now on waves that we've previously been stuck on. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. We're going to talk a little bit more about Lord of Sparkles. Is he good? Yeah. Is he amazing? Still not as good as other Transcendence heroes. Let's get going. So as you guys know, I am a big Lord of Sparkles fanboy right now. I mean, number one, he comes from the Light faction. You guys know we used to be the Light's champion until other people just went absolutely crazy on it. Overall, this hero, I do have to say, is a very strong single target damage dealer in the game. Now, there's no comparison to Aspen when it comes to bosses. However, when we're not talking about bosses, I wholeheartedly believe from my experiences, Lord of Sparkles is the better of the two. So that really comes down to what game modes are the most for you. The reason why I will never replace Lord of Sphere Aspen is because of these guys here. These Void campaign bosses are just, you have to have the Lord of Fear. I almost said Sparkles. The Lord of Fear Aspen. He is the only one that does the insane amount of damage to bosses, including Star Expedition, and that's mainly because of his Demon King Might ability, letting him do extra damage and stealing attack from the bosses. So very important to note, this is not a replacement hero. But in situations like PvP, Void Campaign, Tower of Dreams, Void Vortex, I really am enjoying Lord of Sparkles and borderline say he's the better option. Now, instead of being able to, of course, fear the enemies, which is a better CC effect that Lord of Fear Aspen has, we do have the capability to Seal of Light the enemies. However, it's not very reliable. It is until you get to the very last spiritual pivot of the Moon Abyss, when you get a Nirvana version of the hero. That's way out of reach for a good majority of players. But this right here is something that makes it a little bit more reliable. But the main reason why overall Aspen can be is because you can throw a Rui Scepter on him, and even if he's not dealing damage, he can be a pretty solid crowd control, soft crowd control hero, because as you guys know, the fear effect basically stops them from using basic attacks, but if they have full energy bar, they get to go anyway. Counter to that, another soft CC effect is Seal of Light. This blocks off a lot of passive effects and Cores of Origin, like the passive effect to CC an extra time for Therapist Blood Betty, as well as her Core of Origin. It seals off Cores of Origin from the looks of it too. It can be very good to get around a lot of annoying things that are in the game. So if we get a couple more heroes that do have Seal of Light, maybe it's worthwhile, because I think the only other hero right now that still has that ability, Seal of Light, is Tara. And you know we're not using Tara. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about, the advantages and disadvantages. The places that I've seen him perform some of the best are when there are multiple targets that he can kill and then start attacking the next target. Mainly, he's been the whole reason why I've been able to push from this wave right here, essentially. And oh, sorry, not the wrong one. This wave right here, I was like 711. This is a big checkpoint, gear check, almost power check on your account to keep continuing progression. Lord of Sparkles helped me do that because he was absolutely crushing these Valkyries faster than they can get their damage onto us. Still, of course, need Betty just CC everybody, even if it means you're taking burn damage when you CC these Valkyries. Is very important. And then when we came down to this wave 2, 718, I don't think I could have done this without Lord of Sparkles. I did have to use the macro on both of these waves, which is why you might not see it highlighted on the channel. But Holmes Youngs have a ridiculous amount of HP as well, so it's really hard to burn through them even with AoE damage. You again have your Therapist Blood Betty CCing, however this wave had Gustins, which means you are on a timer. Eventually the ping damage will kill your units and you'll be left with nobody, even if you're keeping the entire enemy team. So really, really rough. After that, pretty easy waves here, and then of course we come down to here. Once again, we had a little bit of struggle on this one, but it wasn't as bad because without those Gustins, we could continue to crowd control and the damage from him was good. This one here was another really tricky one. This one was all on Betty. I'm not even going to attribute any of our success to Lord of Sparkles here. And then now we come to the Mim wave. Now there's one really downside of this wave with our Lord of Sparkles, and that is those Azrael in the front row are a lot lower in HP, which gives us a lot of issues, because if in order to go for them, we need to try to go for some craziness here. So we are going to go back and build all of our heroes tanky, because the only way I can see this working is if we survive long enough to get our attacks off. And what we're going to do, oops, I definitely messed one of those up. Yeah, Elena, I think we're going to keep Elena in, and we're actually going to sit the Betty this time because crowd controlling them doesn't do too much. What we're going to do is go to Antlers Cane, I believe. I think Antlers Cane is going to be the better pick on both of them. So let's give that a shot, because here's the issue we face on this one. It's not easily solved by our hero, mainly because we're dealing with a couple issues here. We need more damage reduction, which that is something that this hero provides. We're gonna hope this works out in a positive for us. Now, I put a Lord of Fear Aspen across from a Mim in hopes that his active skill is strong enough that we can eventually break through, but you'll notice Yorhm is going after an Azrael immediately. So the only way that's going to change is if Aspen gets a crazy strong active skill off on a Mim, and then we can start picking apart the Mims, because of course when allies or enemies die, the Mims are going to do crazy amounts of damage. But you can see the amount of damage our Lord of Sparkles is doing, and you can see the amount of damage our Aspen is doing. It is very, very different when you're looking back and forth between the two, and this is not a good situation for us, because the second those Azraels die and revive, we are going to take so much damage, our team just gets deleted. Simple as that. The only way I could think about potentially beating this wave is if we do something even more less traditional now, or I guess more traditional, and that's building a team that is 100% built with golden crowns, with the hopes that we can survive long enough and get a W. So we're not even going to go with any of these cats, nothing like that. We are going purely for survivability mode on all of our heroes. Now, actually, you know what? This is going to sound really weird, but I kind of want to put a Freya on our team as well to get more chances to dodge. Granted, the dodge isn't going to do too much for us. This is a tough one. We could sit our Lord of Fear Aspen, because honestly, the Yorhm is plenty to get this done. I just don't have faith that Freya can survive. That is my major concern here. The hope is that, nope, she's going to die immediately. So that does not work. She's 2 weeks. She's not Destiny transition. So it just means our hero completely melts. That's not a good look. And you can see, even with crowns, as the heroes die, this turns into a very bad situation for us. Now, technically, if we can keep just Natalia and our main damage dealer alive, that would be an interesting scenario. But I think this is pretty much how we have to run it, and we have to hope that, again, we start being able to survive through a lot of these hits. Our Phantom Defier Lana takes a ton of damage early on, which is very negative considering she also has that crown. It doesn't matter who they attack, we're going to take a lot of damage, and the second we beat that Azrael, we just run into tons and tons of issues. I do want to try one thing after this attempt to see if it's something that makes us able to survive this and actually get a win. It's gonna sound weird, but bear with me here. So this round, again, Yorhm's probably gonna get the kill here. Again, Our hope is that we just, oh god, if we kill multiples, we're really screwed. We gotta like kill them one at a time. But again, Azrael's revive, and that's the biggest issue we are running into here. So I'm gonna try something here. It's gonna be a little weird, a little unconventional, but I kind of want to run just these two heroes by themselves to see what happens. That means they get shielding and stuff. We're losing our aura. However, that doesn't mean we get insanely high shields from our Natalia for using basic attacks. And maybe somehow we can make this work. I don't know if it's even possible. No, there's way too much damage coming in. I was hoping it was actually something that was doable, where we could like cheese it. I guess if we also put maybe a Betty in here, it could work. But yeah, like the second we kill targets, it's just so much damage that's incoming. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, we can try throwing like a Betty in as well for basically just the hope and chance of CCing those Azraels. But it looks like no one's gonna hit her. Oh, we do get a Seal of Light off, surprisingly, which is kind of cool. It does help spread the damage around a bit. But again, the second a hero dies, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a solution to this one. I don't really know what type of team composition we can run that will survive, because the fact that these Azraels return almost immediately is just the death of our account. The only thing I could think is literally transitioning our account back to like a Doom Terminator Vulcan account, because right here we do huge damage, but then he just dies. The only thing I think is Doom Terminator Vulcan, or more importantly, Star Swordsman Machman, the hero that we actually don't even have anymore. That way we can do crazy round 1 damage, hopefully weaken the bosses in the back row. But honestly, at this point, I don't know, and that is where we're stuck. And a hero like Yorhm is not going to get it done. Honestly, a hero like Lord of Fear Aspen also not going to get the job done. So we'll have to figure out exactly how we're going to run our squad. I don't know just yet, but I'll let you guys know as soon as we did. I just want to make sure you're clear. This is a fun hero, not optimal hero. And come to Barry Gaming for fun with a little bit of optimal information sprinkled in here and there. But more importantly, fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.